Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I'm going to spotlight some purchases I made today at an area antique shop. It's a store I don't necessarily go into very often just because it's not that close to me, but it is in the general area and I happen to be there today for a work reason. So I was able to swing by and see what they had. And this shop has had a lot of good stuff over the years. Last couple years I'll swing by whenever I'm there because they always just have a variety of things. Had a lot of old junk wax cards. I'm talking 87, 88, 89 tops, Flea, all sorts of sports flicks cards. But then they'd had some more modern stuff too. I did pick up a few autographs. These were all like $3. Now, none of these names are going to blow you away, but I figured you get an autograph of First Bowman Chrome for $3. I thought I'd take a flyer, even though it probably won't amount to much on any of these cats. Will Bush, this one's numbered out of 499, the refractor. Gabriel Arias for Bowman's Best. Obviously, he has played in the major leagues and done okay there. The speckle of CJ Rodriguez for Oakland, or the Athletics, I guess, as they're called now. Jose Rodriguez for Texas. And like I said, for $3, I thought I'd take a flyer. Curtis Mead, it's probably the best prospect out of all of these guys. I believe he is from Australia. He's played quite a bit this year, mainly just against left-handed pitching in the platoon, and I think they just sent him down because someone got recalled. But Jeffrey Rosa there from Bowman from a couple years ago, refractor as well. So I figured, hey, for $3 a pop, why not see if I can amount to anything here. Also featuring this new little board and stand that one of my buddies made for me, and I really appreciate that. So what I really purchased out of all the junk wax was the packs of not 1953 tops, but this is, I believe, 1991 or 1993 Topps Archives, which is after the 1953 set. I think these were like $2.50 a piece or something. So yeah, 1991, you can see there. This is the iconic 1953 design, and it's got a lot of cards in the set, over 300, I believe. But there are some that still are fairly desirable. There's some graded Jackie Robinsons and Mickey Mantles out there. So not that I'm planning on grading any of these, but I saw these in there. I'm like, you know what? I don't think I ever purchased these as a kid, and maybe they'll all be bricked together. I'm not sure. But I figured I'd give it a shot. So here we go. I've got 6 packs of it. Spent, I think, $15. Figured it'd be worth the time to show them. Al Rosen there off the jump. The old Detroit Tigers logo. Look how cool those are. Ted Gray. We've got Joe Astroff for the Philadelphia Athletics before they come to Kansas City, and before then they go to Oakland, and now that they're in Sacramento. Hank Edwards for the St. Louis Browns. I don't know enough about this set if they literally replicated the entire print run, or if they just picked certain cards. Robin Roberts, if you play MLB The Show, this actual card is featured on a Prime version of Robin Roberts that just came out within the last week. That's pretty interesting. Robin Roberts. Hal Newhouser for the Detroit Tigers. Another great of the game. Put him up there at the top. I've got some more. Clarence Podbeelen for Cincinnati. I can't say I know anything about him. The good news is these cards are not bricked together, and they're in pretty good shape. Like, you don't really see a lot of warping or anything. The old Cubs logo. Andy Seminick for the Reds again, the catcher. Just a classic design. Obviously, being the reprints here, they don't carry the value of the originals, but still really cool. Hank Bauer. Wonder why the background is so green there. That's pretty interesting. And then Dixie Howell, the catcher for the Brooklyn Dodgers. And there's the back, kind of replicating the actual 1953 design as well. Although it is very, very obvious. Sometimes they're kind of tricky on these, but it is very obvious. It says Topps Baseball Archives, the Ultimate 1953 Series down there on the bottom. I hope that's not what I don't know. I would hope that's not how the exact cards look. I can't say I have any 1953 Topps cards to compare them to, so. All right, so we got Robin Roberts and Hal Newhouser, probably, at least in my opinion, from what I know, the 2 biggest names there in that first pack, although I could be wrong. These things are a little tricky to get into. I'm going to try not to do any damage. They have pretty much a full box of these at the antique store, so I could go back, I guess, if I wanted to. There's Whitey Ford, a young Whitey Ford. Look at that. Hall of Famer, Edward Charles Ford, not Long Island City, New York. So we're making a nice little run here of, get these guys off to the side, of Hall of Fame pitchers. Eddie Robinson for the White Sox. Look at that, it's grand, man, he's cheesing. Lou Burdette for the Milwaukee Braves, for they're in Atlanta. Then we've got the Red Sox, Ted Lipsio, I don't know how to say his name. Cliff Fannin for the Browns. I believe the Browns become the Baltimore Orioles, right? Andy Carey for the Yankees. Harry Perkowski for the Reds. John Hickey for the Pirates. These old logos are just, man, they're awesome. Bill Burton again for the Braves. Don Hope for Brooklyn. Jim Pendleton for the Braves. A lot of Braves on this one. And Mike Sandlock for the Pirates. So we have a lot of Braves and Pirates in there. Besides Whitey Ford, I didn't notice any Hall of Famers or megastars, although it's very possible that there's some Hall of Famers in there that slipped by me. I'm not exactly the best historian at the game from the mid-50s. Still looking for maybe, obviously, like a Willie Mays. I don't even know if he's in this set, or the Mickey Mantle, or the Jackie Robinson would be the best one. Look at this red background there. Sal Magley for the New York Giants. Dave Philly, this one, card's a little dinged up in there in the bottom right, for the Athletics. Dick Brodowski for the Red Sox. Freddie Marsh, another guy cheesing. These White Sox are just cheesing all over the place. Okay. Ewell Blackwell there. Bob Keegan for the White Sox again. Finally, a White Sox guy that's not cheesing. Bill Bruton. Don Hope. Just the Eddie Matthews. Is this his rookie year? We have Pendleton again. Sandlock again. Al Lopez. Manager card. And then Vern Bickford for the Boston Braves. So like I said, you can see here there's at least 390. I don't know if it's 350. How many cards are in this set? So like I said, it's a pretty expansive set, and maybe they just modeled it after the real 1953 set. I'd have to do a little research on that. But regardless, it is a pretty big checklist from what you can see there, so the chances of us hitting one of the big stars is not as easy as it is in like a release like today that has maybe a smaller checklist. Leo DeRocher, manager for the Giants, a name that is familiar. Maurice McDermott for the Red Sox. Can't say I know anything about him. Billy Martin. Speaking of managers, this is whenever he's playing second base for the Yankees. Go on to be obviously one of the most famous, or some people would say infamous managers. Maybe a little bit of both, depending on the time. Managed the Yankees for a couple stints. Howie Paulette for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Eddie Mixis for the Cubs. There's a Duke Snider card. There's another Hall of Famer. Classic. From Los Angeles, California. The Duke of Flatbush. Duke Snider, very cool. John Podres for the Dodgers. I've heard of him before. Paul Minner for the Cubs. And Sandy Burgess for the Phillies. The Fightin' Phils. So we're down to the final two packs here. Hope you're all enjoying this one. Like I said, I've run by this antique shop, I don't know, once every 4 or 5 months. And it's the first time I've seen these cards in there. They usually have a variety of new cards and some junk wax cards, some old NBA basketball. One time I went through there and bought some of the Skybox, you know, the first year of Skybox and second year of Skybox cards. And this time I just went with baseball. Joe Dobson for the White Sox. Don Callaway for the Athletics. You see a lot of the same teams here just because there weren't as many teams in the league. Bobby Thompson, obviously a shot heard around the world there for the Giants. Mickey Grosso, first time we're seeing the Washington Senators logo. That's pretty cool. Don Lund for the Tigers. There's Howie Paulette again. We've seen him once already. And Eddie Mixis. Chuck Dressen, the manager for the Brooklyn Dodgers. Bobo Holloman for the St. Louis Browns. Paul Minner, and Smokey Burgess. We've seen both of those before, so we're here for the final pack. And I appreciate everyone watching this one. I'm going to try to put out some more videos on a more regular basis. I've got some cards I picked up at a couple card shows over the last, 6 months that I've never really shown, and I'm going to try to put out some more content, just kind of trying to get back into the groove here. Billy Hitchcock for the Athletics as we enter the last pack. Sammy White. There's card number 82, the Mickey Mantle. Very cool to hit that in the last pack. Centering not perfect, but that's a pretty cool card. I don't know what it's worth, maybe $5 or something, but that would be one of the big ones we're going for. Top left-hand corner's got a little, not exactly perfect, but still for $15, a pretty good run at it here this time. Billy Hoft for the Tigers. We've got Jimmy Pearsall, for the Red Sox. Pee Wee Reese, speaking of Hall of Famers. Shortstop for the Brooklyn Dodgers. If you get his double playmate, that would be pretty cool. Louisville, Kentucky. And set him down here at the bottom. Harry Lowry for the Cardinals. It's an old Sportsman Park in the background. I don't know where they took these pictures. There's another, speaking, holy cow, this pack is coming through in the clutch. Last pack, Magic. Ted Williams. Card number 319. Got the little quiz on the bottom. Very cool. Put him down there by Mickey Mantle. Herman Waymeyer for the Reds. And we're down to the final two cards, which are Carl Drews for the Phillies. And, oh my goodness, this final pack coming in hot. The iconic 1953 Willie Mays card as well. You've seen, obviously this is the reprint version, but I've seen legit versions of this at card shows, and it is just something else to see. Obviously a big time card, one of that and the 52 and the 53. Obviously going to be way out of my price range for the most part of my life, but still really cool. Well, that was fun. I had a good time opening those. I hope you had a good time watching it. Maybe go back, and next time I'm in this town, if that box of cards still happens to be there. That was an enjoyable little rip, not just to go through, see some of these old school logos, but see some of these legends of the game: Ted Williams, Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, Duke Snider, Whitey Ford, highlighting our best hits in that one. So thank you so much for watching this one, guys. I'll catch you in the next video, and leave a comment on your favorite card. See ya.